Currently, the Father is saying, have faith in my method. If you are willing to let me handle the specifics, I will lead you down the path of life and bring you closer to my gift than you could have ever imagined was possible. When it comes to your life, I am moving in so many different directions and in so many different ways that your natural thinking could never keep up with me. It is a problem with the heart, says God. You must answer yes with your heart, because if you answer yes with your heart, I will take you to places that your intellect, with its limited comprehension, could never go. Have you faith in me? After that, I will handle everything from here on out. Just provide a positive response without insisting that you be provided with all of the information in advance. Have you taken into consideration the fact that the demand for specifics, explanations, and comprehension is frequently nothing more than a lack of belief? The natural mind believes that if it were capable of comprehending, then everything would be different, and a breakthrough would follow. What an inflated sense of self-importance that natural mind possesses. It is imperative that you assert your power over the tyranny of your own rationale, as it is incapable of producing the same results that faith as small as a grain of mustard seed will generate in a single instant. According to the Father, are you prepared? Put an end to your incessant demands, your soul man, which are like those of a kid who is out of control.
Did you know that?
According to the natural mind, we are not going any further until I get answers. Immediately put an end to that stronghold. Please remove yourself from the realm of sense-bound reasoning and enter the realm of consciousness regarding who I am and what I am doing in your life at this very time. I have been looking forward to that kind of teamwork. After your obedience has been made complete and the promise has been fulfilled, your mind will object, grumble, and howl and protest. However, you should not be afraid of these things owing to the fact that everything will be clarified in due season. Then the mind will say, I had it figured out all along, while in reality it was your natural mind and not merely the adversary that was the greatest foe to the deliverance that you seek and have sought even these many years. Allow me to be your truth, allow me to be your way, and allow me to be your life, and all of a sudden, all of your suddennesses will become reality, and the fullness of my promise will be a tangible substance in your life. I am the Father, and I am blowing the wind of my Spirit over you today, says the Father. Allow me to bestow onto you the gift of life and breath, which will allow me to protect you and everything concerned with you. My hand is evident in everything of creation that surrounds you, since it is by my hand and for my own purposes that I keep the very atoms of creation together moment by moment throughout the entire process of creation. It is because of my unwavering regard that the worlds continue to revolve around their axis, and it is also because of my unwavering regard that you accept each breath as a gift from heaven in order to carry out my purposes on earth. Every morning, you are not confronted with drudgery and agony when you wake up. That is not what I have in mind. In order for you to complete the reason for which I brought you forth from the womb of your mother and the loins of your father, I came to you so that you would discover freedom and release. I came so that you might fulfill the purpose for which I raised you from the dust. God has assured me that you are not a mistake. Your existence is not the outcome of a biological process that occurred at random. In that limited existence that you are living out day by day, you are a beautiful example of the supernatural life that reflects my regard and my love for you. It is the Father who says, I am with you. You are a product that I have produced by myself. I am currently working, and I have worked in the past, and I will continue to work in your life. Put an end to the misunderstandings that exist regarding abandonment and solitude. You have not been left behind. The favor and blessing of God are not withheld from you in any way. Allow your heart to sing the refrain, never alone, no, never alone, for I am working within you to will and to do what is in my good pleasure. This is the base state and default entitlement of every person who has called upon that name by which I am named, both in heaven and on earth, the name of Jesus. Therefore, rejoice and allow yourself to free fall into the Abba Father experience that is the base state and default entitlement of every person who has called upon that name. God has spoken into your life today, saying, I am moving and acting in your life today to bring blessing and promotion. Enter the dynamic reality of what I am doing on your behalf and take a step forward. As you give yourself over to the role of an instrument through which my glory might reverberate, I am making sure that I am always working with you and never against you. It is the Father who declares that you are both fearfully and wonderfully formed. If you are aware of the processes and activities that are occurring simultaneously in your natural body, you should also be aware that I am not responsible for just one item in your life, but rather many things. It is not true that I am a God of sameness or of lifeless uniformity. I am the name of the God who has never planted anything consecutively. Those who are deeply engrossed in dormant religion seek refuge in the realm of regimented thinking. In order to taste of the new wine of my spirit, which requires a new wineskin, you must first emerge from the tombs of identical religious practices. In the midst of the silence that exists between your own thoughts, I urge you to let go of the traditional wisdoms that are associated with religious reflection and to listen to my voice speaking through you. At this very moment, the chronology of an eternal existence is circulating through your bloodstream, not only to push you forward but also to establish and bless you right where you are. At the same time as I do not feel intimidated, I do not keep a distance from the very ordinary things that are occurring in your life. The very hairs on your head have a number associated with them. It is imperative that you do not give anyone the opportunity to persuade you that I am not fully and intimately connected to the tiniest concern that your heart desires. I have arrived, and I am about to move in order to bless and protect you. It is important to acknowledge that this is the most fundamental truth, and to search for me in every nook and cranny, behind every door, and in every scenario and condition. The complete totality of the Godhead is here and working in your limited life and within the limitations of everything that you represent in your person to establish my favor and blessing upon everything that you accomplish. Yes, this is the case. God is telling you today to let go of whatever erroneous notions that you have about what is not possible in your life. It is not too late for you. Not only are you not too young, your age is only a frame of reference in the history of your life that defines the moment when you might invite me to bring about the transformation that you are looking for. Stop viewing things that are visible to the outside world as the determinants of your success or failure. It is not the things that a man consumes that are the source of his defilement. Rather, it is the things that begin in the heart that determine what happens next. You appear to be trembling with fear. When this happens, the fear that you feel on the inside is acting as a corrosive, meaning that it is destroying any optimism that things may get better. On this day, it is time to use my word and my promise to smear the dream and the fear that are residing within you until they are entirely eradicated. Are you preparing yourself for a decline and a sense of disappointment? That which you focus your attention on is where you are. In the place where I am dispensed from my throne all the necessary power to dismantle the scheme that hell has devised against you and to remake your life in accordance with the promises of my word, you should focus your affections on things that are above. In the words of the Father, it is all about working together. Whatever it is that you permit to be in your heart in abundance will have no choice but to work with you and succumb to you. If your anxiety and fear have been with you for such a long time that they truly have an effect on the composition of your personality, then this forms a stronghold that will hold you like a vice until you make the decision to do what is required to break free of it. Have faith in the positive report. Please acknowledge the blessing that I have bestowed upon you. There is no denial on my part. It is not that I am refusing. It is not true that I am remote or uninterested in the events that are taking on in your life. I am not sitting on my throne. If you are going to accept the clear and plain promise of my word, which is that I came so that you might have life and have it more abundantly, then you are going to have to make a decision between standing with the counsels of the uneducated and unilluminated counsels that have taught you such rubbish, or you are going to accept the clear and plain promise of my word. The reason I came was so that you may have a prosperous life, and guess what? I will still be arriving. I am coming in force, and I am coming in majesty, and the place where I choose to make my appearance will be wherever faith is found. In the words of the Father, I am only looking for that one certain thing. To bring about the mountain-moving results of entire blessing and favor that you have longed for, I am looking and coming to find confidence in the earth and in your heart. However, in order for me to bring about these things, you must pull yourself away with me. God declares, I have caused you to inherit my creative nature, and He says this message today. The wheel of nature revolves within your spirit, working in conjunction with my spirit, which functions as the wheel within the wheel. This occurs on the inside of you. In the same way that I breathed into Adam, causing him to become a living soul, I have breathed into you so that you may be made evident as a blazing fire that is ablaze with my glory. God says, open your mouth wide, and I will fill it until it is full. Your tongue is the source of both life and death originating from within you. Create a life that you could actually live. If you speak my word, it will become the substance and the power that determines and establishes the preamble for what happens next in your life. Speak my word, and it will become the substance and the force. It is not difficult for you to get the land. Due to the fact that I have demonstrated it to you, you are in a position to possess mine. Not only are you not a rookie, but you are also not an unlearned person. According to my purpose, you are the one who has been called, and the ordination of heaven is resting upon you at this very now. Today, you must emerge from the grave clothes of remorse and take your place. Come forth from the tombs of past disappointments, and cut yourself as the Gadarene with the shards of blunders that you have made in the past. You have been set free. You are now free to go. Today, you are released from the snare of the fowler like a bird leaving its nest. It is in you that I am writing myself, and it is in you that I am writing myself. You are a letter of destiny that was penned with the indelible quill that has the diamond tip of my sovereignty. Who is it that will be able to remove you from the purpose for which I have ordained you? Unleash yourself, you man of God. O woman of God, you must come forward. My resurrection power is removing the stone from the tomb of that which is only human and limited, and it is bringing you out to walk in newness of life in every scenario and condition that you meet. This is your moment, and this is the hour when my resurrection power is doing this. Jesus Christ today, the Father instructs us to become dressed in the robes of God. To make it possible for you to experience the sinlessness of my person in your life, I took on the shape of a man who was deeply sinful. You are not obligated to engage in sin. Due to the sacrifice that was made on the cross, you are now free from sin. Sin will no longer have any power or influence over you. It is now possible to break free from the sins of passion and the sins of secrecy that have held you captive like a vice. You do not need to worry. Get up on your feet and shake off the chains that are holding you down. Behold, the doors of the jail of disgrace are standing open in front of you. You will no longer be bound by the cords of transgression and the bands of iniquity that have been placed around you. In the blood that was poured at Calvary, I have set you free so that you can emerge from the tombs of regret and shame and enter into the celebration of my character and holiness in your life and in your walk. Be careful not to behave like the dog that goes back to its vomit. It is up to you to decide. The decision to not give in to the desires of the flesh is yours to make. The motions of the flesh are all about consuming bread and water that has been stolen from you and drinking stolen water. This is a deception, but the truth is that I am the source of living water and the food of life within my person. I am the fountain of living water and the bread of life. The Lord says, "Take a portion of that which I am. Take a deep drink of everything that I have provided for you to savor to the fullest extent. Give yourself over to the depths of my presence, and you will experience an unfathomable bliss that can only come from an encounter with me. Yes, you are clean. You do not need to worry. Your soul, which has been thoroughly cleansed, will no longer be tainted by the actions of sin. It is the beginning of that life that you have sought for in me, and I give it to you without charge right now. This is the beginning anew. In this day and age, the Father declares, I am the God of enormous abundance. It is not possible for me to withhold anything from you since you are a cherished daughter and a son who is entitled to everything. Solicit. Ask a lot of questions. In your life, seeing the impossible become a reality can be accomplished by asking for the impossible. Get rid of such prayers that are not very strong. Stop reciting all of those prayers of complaint that your religious upbringing has taught you. When I raised Christ from the grave, I opened the door for you to enter the Holy of Places. Come with confidence. Arrive with eager anticipation. The bounties of heaven are waiting for you. You are experiencing the fullness of the bounty that heaven has to offer, which is bursting the seams of splendor to pour out everything that is wonderful into your life. Give in to it. Please take it. In order to reorient your thinking, you need be aware that I am a God who is both good and giving. It is sufficient. The full price of the punishment for sin that was held against you was paid by what I brought about on Calvary. You have been set free. In the heavenly courts, you have been shown to be innocent. Your case has been decided in your favor by the gavel. The prison doors are open, and it is possible that you will be released. You no longer have a heart that is the putrid crypt of a soul that has died of sin. You are the dwelling place of the true Christ. God's trumpet is ringing within you at this very moment. All of the darkness is being driven away by the resonance of my goodness and my strength, and the complete spectrum of my light is being brought to bear in every aspect of your life and every facet of your existence. You do not need to worry. I count you among those who have achieved freedom. You are able to step into that freedom now as your rightful inheritance in me, just by having trust. Today, Jesus Christ encourages us to look for things that are higher than ourselves. Seek out and set your face on the fullness of my glory, for it is in my glory that I have equipped you with everything you need for life, transformation, and the provisioning of any and every need you will ever experience. Are you aware of the reason why it is not necessary for you to pursue things that are based on earth? Mostly due to the fact that as you follow after me, all of those gifts will come upon you and eventually overwhelm you. Can you explain what this means to me? You will catch a glimpse of my hand if you seek out my face. Those who are out there in the world, those who are not religious and who do not believe, fill their stomachs and their lives with the swine husks of things that are temporary, and they are never satisfied. I will bestow upon you the treasures that come from heaven, and your reward will be of vast magnitude, and your joy will be absolutely bursting at the seams. Please acknowledge that you have a right to me on this day, says God. Turn your attention away from those who are scowling and insisting in a mocking manner inside the realm of spirituality that I am not a God who gives. It was a wonderful experience for me to give, and I have never stopped giving. If I did not withhold anything from you, including my Son, my only begotten Son, and even the darling of heaven, then why would I ever withhold anything less than that from you? In the event that I were to bestow upon you all of the wealth of the world in a single instant, it would be nothing in comparison to what I have already bestowed upon you concerning Christ. Therefore, I will not provide you with the resources that the dead religion has falsely and misguidedly suggested I will not provide you. These individuals are blind leaders of the blind, and they are wallowing in the mud of their own shame. Get to your feet. Give yourself a good shake, and I will give you everything that I have for you today, says God. There is never a decrease in the supply of heaven's inventory, rather, it is always an increase in the quantities. Within the realm of the earth, I have bestowed upon you an inherited right to the boundless treasures of splendor. I promised in my word that I would provide for all of your need using the wealth that I have in glory. Do you have your sight set on the glory? Are you making use of the abundance of blessings that could be bestowed to you in the glory? When you go out into the economy of the kingdom today, you will come to the realization that the economy of man will no longer be the determining factor in what your riches means. At this very moment, you should start spending the cash of the kingdom. Faith is the currency that is used in the area in which I reside, declares God. Make use of your beliefs. Use your faith to provide for your essential requirements. Invest your faith in the things that your heart most desires. You can put your faith to use by communicating with your mountain. Are you having a conversation with your mountain? Your mountain is listening to what you have to say. Which of the following statements are you making? That mountain is getting bigger. Or are you commanding that it be removed and be cast into the sea? If you stand up on your feet, God says, and speak to that mountain of those things that are antithetical to my purpose, you will see how it will be tossed into the sea to be replaced by the manifest substance of answered prayer in your life. Today, God tells you that you are more than just a human being. An entirely new creature is you. In order to grant you access to my magnificence, I had to initiate the process of creating you from scratch. You have been created from scratch. You are an entirely new species. This is the reason why people referred to me as the last Adam and the second man. Through the crucifixion, I came to the conclusion that the human race is the only one. I made it possible for you to cross the threshold from that which was cursed to that which is blessed by God by putting an end to sin on the cross. I made it possible for you to cross the threshold. You have been brought from the realm of darkness into the completeness and the actuality of my kingdom on account of your translation. Today, you have made the transition from the shadows to the light. The transition from death to life has taken place. Death will never be able to hold you, just as it was unable to grasp me. According to God, even illness is not able to hold you, because illness is a form of limited death. In the event that illness were to gain control of your body, it would ultimately lead you to your death. Avoid getting sick in the same way that you would avoid getting sick from the devil himself, for the devil is the source of all illnesses. Since I do not have any illness, I will never be able to offer it to you. Hell is a place where there is no sickness. In the event that those uninformed scribes and Pharisees are true in their accusation of my loyalty in such a manner, where must I go to in order to become ill? It is never my intention to bring you illness. Death or incapacity is never something I would choose for you. Which option do you choose? I am aware of the one that I have selected. God encourages us to make the decision to live, and to live more abundantly, since the cross is all about life that comes from death. I encourage you to realize that the time has come for your miracle to occur. Declare null and void the covenant of death that states, "We will understand it better by and by." It is not necessary for me to die in order to perfect the wisdom that I have within you. It is a foe to face death. Mortality is the final adversary. Although I do not require death, I do not make use of death in order to achieve any of the goals that I have set for myself. When it comes to the fulfillment of even the smallest of my promises, I do not need to resort to death. My spirit is not a spirit that deals with death, rather, it is a spirit that gives life. Today is the day to reject death and receive life. You should be aware that there is a promise and substance in me that, according to the teachings of religion, would only arrive after death, but in truth, you can have it right now. As you speak to your spirit, say, "I will have mine now." What Enoch got is yours to receive. You have arrived at the moment that you have been anticipating, and your deliverance is right now. This day, the Father instructs you to fight for your freedom. Freedom can be found wherever my spirit is present. In no circumstance should you ever permit anyone or anything that does not originate from my spirit to indenture you into servitude. There is no temporal influence that can affect you right now. It is impossible for other people to exert influence over you unless you give them permission to do so. Unless you give in to the strain, circumstances will not be able to keep you back. Figure out how to fight back against the strain that is putting you under a burden. Make a statement about your soul that goes something like this: the pressure of God in me flowing out is greater than the pressure of the enemy or the circumstance trying to plow me under. Never give in to the temptation to hold oneself enslaved. Refuse to surround yourself with the clothes that are associated with being a victim. Remove the suffocating garments of self-referential and self-pitying thoughts. The hand that I have redeemed belongs to you. Your freedom and your testimony are immortalized in heaven in the form of an abstract that is known as the gospel of my truth.